Welcome to the Impact Giving training on how to sponsor an organization for a grant. I'm Susan Marks, one of the founding board members of Impact Giving and the grant chair. Today, I'd like to discuss with you some important tips on how to get your grant application noticed. So every time you see this little light bulb, listen up, because you're getting a valuable tip. It's you, the Impact Giving partner, who sponsors the organizations and makes a big impact in people's lives. There are so many things I love about Impact Giving, but one of my favorites is learning about new organizations that are doing incredible work in the world. Thank you for bringing these wonderful organizations to our attention. Let's take a look at the steps of the Impact Giving grant process. Here's a general overview of what happens each year in our grant process. Over 50 grant applications are submitted, and approximately 12 to 18 of those become finalists. And of the finalists, normally 6 to 7 are awarded Impact Giving grants. Each year, our partners form grant committees. The partners serving on the committees review the grant applications, make site visits, select the finalists, and write finalist summaries, which are posted on our website. All partners review the finalist summaries and vote for their favorite organizations. At our award ceremony, the Impact Giving partners find out which organizations received the most votes, and we award the Impact Giving grants. Let's review the basics on how to sponsor an organization for a grant. Everything you need to know is online at impactgivingnow.org. In the past, we required that each organization fill out a letter of inquiry. We've eliminated the LOI, and instead, a request is made online for a grant application. Go to Grant Process, click on Request Grant Application, and you'll be taken to this form. The most important thing on the form is to fill out the primary contact's name of the organization, as this is the person to whom the grant application will be emailed. You'll also need to enter the name and phone number of the Impact Giving sponsor for this organization. When the form is complete, a grant application will be emailed automatically to the primary contact on the form. Every organization that requests a grant application will go through a screening process. Remember that I mentioned earlier that the partners form grant committees to review the applications? Well, the chairs of those committees review the organizations to ensure that they meet the Impact Giving qualifications. If for some reason an organization does not meet the qualifications, the organization and sponsoring partner will be contacted, and the grant application will not be submitted to our committees for review. But that shouldn't happen if you follow the tips in this training. Let's go over the qualifications now. We're going to start with who we do not grant to. Many organizations have very little staff and rely heavily on volunteers. So if an organization doesn't fit our requirements, we want to be considerate of their resources and let them know right away so they don't take the time and resources to work on a grant application. So please note that we do not grant to any religious organization unless their programs are available to the general public, broadly promoted, and entirely free of religious programming and/or proselytizing. We do not grant to political parties, candidates, or partisan political organizations. We do not grant to labor or fraternal organizations, athletic or social clubs or associations. We do not grant to fundraising, marketing, advertising events, or sponsorships. We do not grant to individuals, and this would include family foundations. And we do not grant to organizations that redistribute funds to other organizations or individuals. So now let's take a look at those we do grant to. In order to receive an Impact Giving grant, the organization must be a nonprofit organization with an established 501c3 number. The organization must be brought to us and sponsored by an Impact Giving partner. We grant to organizations demonstrating bold, innovative ventures, but not to worry, we also like those with programs that are tried and true. We grant to organizations that meet the needs of recipients who have the fewest resources. We grant to organizations that fit specifically in one of our 8 grant categories. And those categories are arts and culture, education, environment, health and wellness, human services, human rights, hunger and shelter, and women and children. You can find more detail on these categories on our website. Now let's take a look at our grant standard and funding principles. This is the criteria the grant committees use to evaluate and select the finalists. Of primary importance is our grant standard. Impact Giving grants are awarded only to projects and programs which make a high impact by transforming lives with obvious significant change during the granting period. So it's important to note that selections are made based on whether or not the organization is making a high impact by transforming lives. And we look to see that the change is made within the funding year. Each grant application will also be evaluated on our funding principles. Just a note, very few organizations meet all of these funding principles, so no worries in the grant application. Just make sure to cover the ones your organization does meet. The funding principles are sustainability, organizations that strive for self-reliance and are committed to lasting change. We get this question each year. Sustainability means two things. Sustainability for the organization, demonstrating that it has the staff and resources to be around in years to come, and sustainability in the program or project being funded, so that it brings lasting transformational change to those it serves. Next, education. Organizations that make education a priority for the recipients, the organization as a whole, and the community. Community building. Organizations that demonstrate teamwork and collaboration among individuals and other organizations with common interests. Innovative. Organizations that strive for original and courageous solutions using new approaches to achieve their goals. And measurable. Organizations that are results-oriented with specific, achievable objectives and action plans. If you're a partner who would like to sponsor an organization for an Impact Giving grant, here are a couple of suggestions to get your application noticed. Review the grant application before it's submitted to Impact Giving. You know Impact Giving's standard and principles better than the organization, so you'll be able to provide some insight to make the grant application stand out. Oftentimes, grant applications are written with great passion for the project, but leave out relevant, important details that are evaluated by the committees. Impact Giving partners serving on committees take a hard look at how well the project or program outlined in the grant application meets the standard and funding principles. And when it comes time to vote, partners balance both their head and their heart by considering the facts around the application as well as the passion they see at the site visits and in the finalist summaries. So remember, as a grant sponsoring partner, you could really help your nonprofit by reviewing the grant application to ensure it covers both the relevant facts to satisfy our head and the passion to ignite our hearts. If possible, you should attend the site visit for the same reason. Here are a few points to note. A partner may sponsor as many organizations as they like. Organizations may be awarded grants for 3 consecutive years, and after that, they have to take a year off before applying again. If your organization did not receive an Impact Giving grant in the past, be sure to review the standard and funding principles and apply again. Another tip to get your grant application noticed: attend grant training. Grant training is required for all partners who are going to serve on a grant committee and is recommended for anyone sponsoring a grant. Serving on a grant committee is at the heart of Impact Giving, and the training covers in detail how to evaluate a grant application, what to look for on site visits, and how to select finalists. By attending grant training, a sponsoring partner will gain great insight to the actual evaluation process and will be a step ahead. We are a partner-driven organization, and each year we listen to suggestions and feedback from our partners to improve our grant process. As a result, the grant training evolves each year. So if you've attended in the past, you might be surprised and delighted with the new information you'll receive in the most recent grant training. And grant training is one of the best ways to understand how the grant applications are evaluated. So whether you serve on a grant committee or are sponsoring a nonprofit for a grant, it would be very valuable for you to attend the training. Just remember, if you sponsor an organization for a grant, you cannot serve on the committee which is reviewing that particular grant application. Sign up online for grant training or to serve on a committee. And if you have any questions regarding this process, please take a look at the website where you'll find more detail. And we have a private Facebook community established only for Impact Giving partners called Impact Giving Partners. So you may also go there to ask any questions you have about the process of sponsoring your favorite nonprofit organization for an Impact Giving grant. We wish you the very best.